Hello, you beautiful internet you, and welcome to a very, very special presentation of Careful Cantrip. We're a group of friends from coast to coast. Well, usually, do their absolute best, get lost in dungeons, and at times, run away from dragons. As always, I am your host and ever-loving universe DM Dave, and these warriors of the dice all around me, these impeccably attractive, unquestionably individuals are my players. Guys, you already know what to do. Show some love to the trippers out there, would ya?
Hello.
Hello.
So, with that said, hello to all the new Connors out there who are exposed to our dumb faces for the very first time. It is wonderful to have you, and hopefully you are enjoying what you've seen thus far at the wonderful world of Gary Con this year. And a very special thanks to Gary Con for allowing us to do something absolutely ridiculous on screen for you all. I hope you all enjoy. For any of the trippers out there, our lovely, lovely community, if you're watching, know the cameras are not in the wrong position. These are the character names that the computer has assigned to the players. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to be confusing at all.
So, what are we doing here today? We are playing a game that I have been dying to play since I actually found it. A sci-fi comedy RPG of a dystopian future run by your friend, the computer. Think Brave New World mixed with a little bit of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and a little bit of 1984 mixed with Monty Python. Basically, sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of paranoia. Now, for those who have never seen this game before, the objective of the game is the players to complete their mission without dying. Those numbers in the top right-hand corners of their screens, those are their lives, essentially. Pretty simple, right? Get from point A to point purple. Well, not quite as easy as you'd think. You see, Paranoia is a bit more of a competitive than collaborative game. Each player is doing their absolute best to look good in front of friend computer, even if it means potentially sabotaging one of their teammates. Just don't let friend computer see you do it. The players will be taking on the role of new cadets in the Troubleshooter Academy. Friend computer assigns missions to troubleshooters, such as testing out new equipment from R&D, maybe fixing some broken equipment in one of the many non-existent sectors. And as always, be on the lookout for terrorists and mutants. Are there already a few terrorist, mutants, secret society members, or other treasonous, hedonist individuals within this group? Well, beats me. Now, if they do good, they'll be rewarded XP points, where they can help climb the ranks from lowly infrared grunts to the coveted ultraviolet programmer rank. But if they do bad, they will suffer the consequences. Insert evil laughter here. I mean, mwahahahaha. So, with that said to my players, any questions?
No?
Many. Fantastic.
Yeah,
good.
so many.
In that case, without any further ado, players, are you ready?
No.
And Connors, are you ready?
Yes, looking forward to get started.
Well, in that case, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episodes. Okay, now we're back. So, to my players. You come into consciousness of a brand new world, to the familiar sound of a toilet bowl flushing. Now, being born is an odd thing, really. You really didn't ask for this. Some call it the gift of life, but who are they to judge? You might have been quite enjoying your time being unalive. And all the new sights and sounds are so very, very jarring. Which begs the question of why the sound of a toilet bowl flushing sounds familiar. along with the cool, wet feeling on your skin. And that sensation. Hard to put a finger on it. The name seems to be escaping you. Flailing? No. Flogging? Oh, definitely not. Oh, yes, falling. That's the word that you're looking for. And that's exactly what you're doing. Well, more sliding than falling. Sliding, wet, flushing. Is how odd this life can be.
What is this game?
But up there ahead, a light. You should go towards the light. Or does that come at the end? Well, nothing really to do about it now, as the light seems to be coming towards you. And as you become bathed in this light, you feel yourself skid across a smooth italic floor into a bright room. And although you know you've never been here before, you somehow know where it is. Well, you're in the infrared clearance cloning briefing room for all new citizens of Alpha Complex, of course. And neat little line of uniforms hanging up from the pegs along the walls. And security cameras, of course. For your security, that is. And yes, there are other people here as well. Like you, slightly damp, rather confused, and naked. Well, kind of naked. So you realize as you glance down, are you? Luckily, there seems to be floating 16-bit pixelated clouds covering your kibbles and bits. And names floating in the air above your heads. As you come into this strange world, this strange room, suddenly you hear a computer or a speaker suddenly go off. Music begins to play in the background. A voice rings out. Greetings, new citizens. Welcome to your first day in Alpha Complex. Any previous day's Alpha Complex you may recall in your pseudo-memories uploaded to your brain lobes to aid and orientate and minimize the psychotic incidents in fresh clones. As citizens of Alpha Complex, you are now valued members of our great community. You will be given roles and tasks, some simple, some perilous, and your contributions will be rewarded with... There's an explosion in the distance, drowning out the voice. The room suddenly shakes violently. An alarm sounds for a few seconds and cuts out. A chunk of tiling falls from the ceiling, crashing onto a scrub bot, a small cleaning robot that has been sitting silently in the corner next to a stack of mops. There is a brief silence, and then the words form in the air. Please stand by.
Thank you.
A moment later, two more words form. The door. What are you all doing?
A door.
Are we all in the same room?
You are all in the same room, very naked with one another.
I'm gonna get dressed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think putting on some clothes is definitely the right step to go here. Hi everyone. Apparently, I'm Peter. It's nice to meet all y'all.
Well, Peter, as
Hello.
you say this, you look around to all of the companions, and let's go ahead and introduce the characters as such. Give your name, a little bit of a description of your physical physique, and what your favorite flavor of candy is. We'll start with you, Jessica.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus.
You just described me?
You see a clone. Do we look humanoid?
You all look very humanoid.
Okay. You see a female presenting clone that has dark hair and medium brown eyes.
How hard is it to describe me? I'm right here.
Okay, I'm paranoid. I'm panicked already. Okay. And Jessica is her name, and she is putting on clothes, and she's consistently thanking everyone around her for everything that she can. Thank you for the clothes. Thank you to the computer. Thank you everyone for being here.
Very suspicious.
Well, Jessica, you have done a fantastic job, and for that reason, we have designated you as the admin officer. If you'll go ahead and check the chat within our Zoom call, you've just been directed in terms of what your role as the administration officer is.
You sent it to me. I'll delete it.
Okay.
I won't read it. Can
I forgot
delete
you
it?
guys switched your names around. Fantastic. This is going to work well for us. I am already looking forward to everything that happens. Moving
This is all your fault.
I know it is, and it's totally worth it. Moving on to Rob. Rob, would you please go ahead and introduce and describe your character for us, and tell us your favorite color, favorite color of candy.
You mean Robert?
Oh, I mean, if you'd prefer Robert, by all means, yes, we can refer to you as that. Go ahead, Robert. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robert. Pale, short, and fugly, and like funnel cake and jazzercise. And my favorite color of candy is 7.
Very good. Very descriptive, Cadet Robert. We are going to go ahead and designate you as the loyalty officer. Go ahead and check chat for me to ensure that you know exactly what it is a loyalty officer does. Moving on to the lovely, ever fantastic Raina. Raina, if you'll please go ahead and describe your character as well as what's your least favorite type of nail, screw, and or drywall.
Hello, I am Clone Raina. I am blonde. I cast bardic inspiration. My favorite kind of drywall is the dry kind.
Very good, Raina. Very good and very descriptive. You have followed directions to a T, and for that reason, you have been designated team leader.
Hey. Blind leading the blind?
Yep.
Oh, wait, I sent that to the wrong person. Ignore that, Robert.
Oh no!
It's all right. It's fine.
Fair enough. Moving on to Peter. Peter, you are relatively new here. Why don't you go ahead and describe your character as well as tell us your favorite brand of toilet paper.
All right. So Peter is kind of like a Caucasian male presenting individual. Quite a lean body type. Definitely does not look athletic. Looks like they definitely got beaten up for lunch money quite a lot as a child. Beard over their face. Reasonably well kept and clean shaven. Glasses. Once they put on their attire, wearing glasses and the like. But for some reason or another, absolutely covered head to toe in these kind of small, kind of like spots, right? Which kind of almost look like really terrifying patterns. It's like a Rorschach, basically, making him look quite ferocious and vicious for no apparent reason, despite his incredible frailty. Yeah, that is Peter, and what he looks like. And as far as my favorite toilet paper goes, I gotta say I love me some hug and kiss. That's definitely the type of toilet paper that I like. 2-ply, maybe 3-ply. If you're really feeling it, 4-ply.
Very, very, very good. Your admiration and love of toilet paper indicates that your dopamine sensors are functioning quite well. And for that reason, you have been designated the happiness officer.
Hey, I could be monitoring happiness. I love that.
Very good. Very good. And moving on to David. David, you seem like a very capable individual. Why don't you go and introduce yourself, describe yourself, and tell us what your worst childhood fear was.
Well, hello, everyone. In front of you, you see a male-presenting cyborg, clone. Sometimes I like to think higher, but very happy to be here. What you see, though, is that in the cloning process, I might have been stretched a little bit further and leaner. My forearms tend to drag a little bit in the process there, but I'm putting on a jumpsuit which only seems to really go up to the knees, and I have my glasses, but my eye is off a little bit, so the glasses I bent a bit, so now I can see perfectly. Aside from that, I don't have many memories, but I would say, there was one time during the cloning process when one of the scientists, poked me, and I came out one time with just half a shoulder. I had a chip on my shoulder. Really?
It does happen to some of the best of us. Your ability to adjust and maneuver the eyewear that you seem to be wearing makes you an ideal candidate for the equipment officer, as has been designated to you. Who the hell are you again? You're David, right?
I am David.
Very good.
Hello,
Very
everyone.
good. Moving on to the lowest realm, not lowest, but least in fact. Michael, if you'd please go ahead and describe your character and let us know, have you ever wished that a pig was in fact a hippopotamus in a snake's body?
So, first of all, it's not Michael, it's Mikael, please. Completely bald, no eyebrows, no beard, just regular size, but when I put my jumpsuit on, I just put it backwards. And as far as if I wanted a hippo to be like a pig to be the size of a hippo, it's more bacon, so I would say yes. In the skin of a snake, that's kind of a hard one, but I'll say yes.
Very good, very good. It seems your level of etiquette, as well as the cleanliness of your otherwise hairless body, would make you the ideal candidate to be the hygiene officer for this team.
Great.
And last, but certainly least, Bobby, if you could go ahead and describe your character, as well as indicate to all of the wonderful viewers throughout all of Alpha Complex, what it is that you believe the true meaning of life to be.
So Bobby's a kind of a medium height, scrangly kind of skinny guy. He has your typical mullet, clean shaven, with just and as he's getting dressed, he's putting on his overalls. And the meaning of life, what I think is work.
Very, very good. Very astute. It seems that you are the most inclined for relaying tasks. You've done a wonderful job, and for that reason, you are being designated as the communications officer.
Shit.
Is there anyone who has been left out without a designation or officer role at this point? Very good. We are going to say that silence is absolutely golden. You have all been designated proper jobs as well as designations as according to the computer. Now, I did hear that a few people were getting dressed. Is there anything anyone else would be doing at this point?
I guess I should get dressed.
I would go and pick up a mop and start pinning, because something fell, right?
It did fall, yes. A tile from the ceiling seems to have fallen directly on a scrub bot, who is now kind of sparking and smoking a little bit off into the corner.
Yeah, I would remove it.
Oh no! A bot is hurt! Jess will freak out and run over to the bot and try to immediately help the bot, and she'll be crying unconsolably.
No, stop, Jess. This is trash. This needs to go back into the bin now.
The bot? No! Bots are people too.
So, Jess, you look like you're under a lot of stress here, okay? Listen, I got this pill here. because happiness is mandatory, right? You just take one of these, right? You pop it just in your mouth. You have a big swallow. Okay, keep a couple deep breaths. Stay calm. All right, just with me. Okay, you ready? You put that in your mouth and you, whoo, right? Whoo-sa.
Yeah, don't have a
Whoo-sa.
cow, Jess. Please.
Well, I don't have a cow, but yeah.
There's
yeah,
no
yeah. Well,
cows. I only care about the bot. Can somebody help me with the bot? Fix the bot?
We should listen to the computer first.
As you say this, Reyna, a long tentacle-like tube suddenly appears out of the ceiling as one of the tiles seems to move over. It flops down on the floor, and as it comes up, you can see a very crudely drawn, almost 16-bit happy face directly on the front screen of the tentacle as it looks over towards you. Well, hello there, Cadet. Reyna. Is there any type of problem that seems to be happening?
The ceiling fell. We are headed towards the door.
Ah, yes.
And there's a bot hurt.
The tentacle immediately flies over to you, Jessica. A bot has been hurt. Has it been malfunctioning?
No, the ceiling fell on it. So it is malfunctioning right now, I guess.
Are you implying that this room is no longer safe?
No, it's fine. It is fine over here. We'll make it in working condition, won't we? We're fine. How are you?
As the tentacle now flops over to David. Officer David, what seems to be the status report of this room?
Yes, well, you see, we were just moving a tile and we had an incident. It is fine. It landed, unfortunately, on the scrub bot, which we can salvage. It is fine. We will milk it for as much as we can. It is fine. We're okay.
Please clarify moving a tile.
Moving, I guess that is what a tile is. I've only been here for 20 minutes, so it's a little new to me. But the tile use, it was a malfunction. My arms, I stretched up and I hit it and it fell over.
Destroying Alpha Complex property is treasonous. You receive 2 treason stars.
That was fast.
And as the computer says this, you all see, for some reason, within your complete view, just over underneath the name of Officer David, 2 bright yellow stars that seem to flicker directly under his name.
Oh, look at that. Almost like I got
It's not
almost like a
good
cow.
thing.
You know what? Getting treason stars looks pretty stressful. You want some pills for that? And I mean, I got yellow ones. I got blue ones. I got this pink one here. To make you feel real good.
Why exactly are you trying to pawn pills onto our friends here?
Well, you see, I'm the happiness officer, and I've just been told that this box of pills apparently is what I distribute to make sure that we stay happy, or... Well, it just says or else, so I'm not entirely sure what happens after that. But I'm pretty chuffed. I'm super happy for my role. So if you're feeling stressed at all, David, right? Because, I mean, it happens. Yeah? Treason stars, potentially being incinerated. A lot to take in, And we got something to take the edge off.
The computer speaks up at this point in time. Yes, as the happiness officer described, happiness is mandatory. I see all is well here as you watch as the tentacle now pulls itself back up into the ceiling. As it does, it gets caught on a little bit of a clip of the ceiling of the tile that it was in as it begins to pull gradually against it. It moves back down and then moves back up, getting caught once more before it tears the rest, a small hole into the top of the ceiling. As all
What
of
do
this
you think,
happens,
kids at home? Can he be trusted? We'll see.
as this happens, the door opens on the opposite side of the wall, and a woman walks into the room. The name floating above, you can see the name is Roz. Her eyes are now focused on something in front of all of you that you can't see. You can see her red jumpsuit matches her hair color. A memory you've never accessed before tells you that she's level, and that you're infrared, which means she's one level of security clearance above you, and she can tell you what to do at any point in time. And thus, so she does. Get dressed, clones. Alpha Complex needs you. We've had a full-on terrorist attack on the lowest level of the nearby sector, and it's all hands on pump. You don't need the rest of the briefing. If you need to know anything, access your Alphapedia through your cerebral cortex implant. Everyone's got their CC running, right? Everyone can see my name as she points above her head.
Yes.
Crystal clear.
Yep, thank you.
Very
nice
good.
to meet you, Roz.
Yes, very good. Great. Your cerebral cortex is your link to the friend computer. Information, directions, mission updates, XP points, holovids, and the rest. It's all beamed straight into your eyeball display. Anything else you need to know, sub-vocalize it. The computer can see and hear everything you can, so don't have it describe you. So you don't have to describe anything. The computer will already know. Roz turns around and gives one last look at the rest of the room. Okay, grab your mops. We're all working for technical services today, and your first job is, as she begins to scan the room, to get that scrub bot repaired. Escort it to the technical services depot down the corridor. Make sure nothing else happens to it. And don't screw it up. Alpha Complex needs a lot of scrubbing right now. You'll get 10 XP points each for this. She leaves the room, now just leaving you, the scrub bot, and the mops. What would you all like to do?
Well, let's go take a look at the robot.
We have to bring it to the thing. Reyna will instruct Jess to pick up the robot.
Well, let's try to repair it first. Maybe it can walk on its own.
The instructions were to take it to Technical Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound very treasonous.
I know, especially given that Reyna there is the leader, you know, and by authority and stuff like that. You don't want to be undermining her.
No undermine. I just want to take a look.
Okay.
Why are you
We're
so
not the
serious?
instructions.
Bobby, if you want to
Well,
take
you
a...
ain't the looky officer there, Bobby.
Bobby,
Indeed, I am.
Bobby, if you would like to go ahead and take a look at the scrub bot, go ahead and choose a stat and skill for us, or attribute and skill for us. And go ahead and input that into the node module.
All right, so let's do mechanics and operate. Let's see how that goes.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I just want a quick happy birthday. LV and Chad.
Aw, happy birthday!
Hey, happy birthday.
Who are you guys talking to?
Happiest
Wanna
birthday.
Very good. Very good. All right. So, Bobby, as you begin to look over the scrub bot, you try and get in as close as possible. As you do, you see that it is, in fact, malfunctioning due to the falling of the ceiling tile directly on it. As you get closer and closer to it, you hear a loud popping noise as a burst of sparks fly out toward your face. You are now considered maimed.
Maimed? Okay.
Okay.
As Bobby now looks up to the rest of you, you can see his hair has been kind of blown back a little bit. Scorch marks all across of his face.
Did it even out his mullet?
Now shaved on one side.
Okay.
Oh my god, Bobby, you look injured. That might make you unhappy. Now, I got some pills.
Here we go.
Now you keep talking about these pills.
Where did you get these pills anyway?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the happiness officer, you see, and happiness is about 5 ounces, okay? And, as far as I know, this is how happiness works, because, as they say here, happiness is mandatory. And there's nothing that someone whose face might have been blown off needs more than a little bit of happiness, okay? So what where I put you down for some little joys here? I got these little yellow ones, I got these red ones. Come on, work
Pills are
with me here,
supposed to
buddy.
make you happy. Why do you have different kinds?
Well, I've got one for the blues. I got one that's got some, some painkillers in them. I got this one here that apparently tastes like strawberries. I got.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
need
even know
you
what
to
that-
go ahead and take one of those pills and make sure it's safe. Wouldn't want you poisoning the team.
Oh, well, I'm pretty happy. I mean,
This
I'm
isn't
gonna
a
take one of
request.
the pills, put it on my lip. I'm gonna be like, just like Mama used to make. I don't know what these pills do, but I'm gonna take one.
The
And-
weirdest game.
And do you
It is.
we could
Yum,
talk till
yum,
the
yum.
cows come home.
Well,
But why don't we
Since
go?
obviously I couldn't take
to
a
the-
look at this thing
to get this
properly.
repaired?
Let's just move it like the Raina was trying to say.
Yes, I will pick up the bot.
Okay. As you attempt to reach down and pick up the bot, it seems a little too heavy for just one person.
I'm assistant.
I'll help. Oh, never mind, Bobby. After you.
Okay.
You guys have this.
Since I already
sure
had my
to
face
lift
in it
with
in
your
the first
knees.
place, I might as well continue.
Very good. As Bobby walks over, picking up the scrub bot along with Jessica, you now have it in hand. Are you all staying in the room, or are we leaving the room at this point?
Let's go to the tech bay.
Okay, fair enough.
As I leave the room, I will scratch my face against the doorway, walking out.
Very good. Okay. As you walk out the room, you hear a very familiar sound.
Oh, no.
Congratulations on joining the Alpha Complex workforce, citizens. Please accept 1 XP point each as a bonus to all of you. You can go ahead and mark down 1 XP point for yourselves. XP can be spent on necessities or luxuries, including increasing your security level. Before you leave the briefing room, ask yourself the following 3 questions. 1. Do I have all my equipment with me? 2. Do I know where I'm going? 4. Do I know what to do when I get there? 6. Do any of the people around me look like mutants, terrorists, or other forms of traitor? If you answered any of these questions as no, or in some cases yes, then ask your mission briefing operative for clarification. Good luck with your mission, citizens. As the small monitor that was resting just above the ceiling pulls back into it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Were they missing some numbers there?
Yeah.
I think
Are
so.
you questioning computer?
No.
It was just an observation.
It's quick observation.
Well, we already saw what happened to Bobby when he was observing things, so we should probably listen to the leader and keep on moving.
Everyone take a mop here. I just inspected them. They're all very nice. Here we are.
Mop.
We're going to need that.
Okay.
As I take the mop, I'm gonna eye him up and down and narrow my eyes into his.
The mop or
You're going to have to
David?
look at a slant because my eyes are...
Okay, fair. Because surprisingly enough, on the end of each one of the mops, there do seem to be 2 eyes that continuously blink towards you.
Well, that's
Can we
good.
assume that we have our equipment by virtue of getting dressed, or was there other equipment in the room that we were supposed to take with us?
That seems like it would be a question for the communications officer.
Communications officer. It's Bobby, right?
Good
Bobby.
question.
Do we have all of our equipment?
No. We didn't bring anything with us. We just
I'll go
brought
back.
the robot.
I'll go back to look and if there's any equipment where I was born,
Okay.
and then I'll grab it.
Is as you look around the room, first off, was there anyone who is remaining naked at this point?
Mm-mm.
Okay, very good. Check number 1 is done, team leader. Well done. You do take note in the corner that there does seems to be a little bit of the broken ceiling tile still remaining off into the corner. Whether that is equipment or not, well, you might want to speak to your equipment officer about that. However, there are the stack of mops that the equipment officer just referenced. But other than that, the jumpsuits, the scrub bot, the mops, and maybe the ceiling tile, that's all that's in that room.
Okay.
Grab the ceiling tile. It never hurts to have everything that we possibly need.
Might as well bring
But-
it along.
I thought. Wait, who's the equipment officer again?
Right here.
David. Would you consider the ceiling tile equipment?
Well, it is a part of the facility, and it will need to be repaired, as it were. So why don't we bring it to the people who are repairing the robot at the same time? And they will put
Good
it back
idea.
installation.
Okay.
Okay, who's taking the ceiling tile?
My hands are full.
You know, I
I'll
will
take the ceiling
tile.
tile. Oh, you can take it.
oh.
No. I insist.
I insist. No, I insist.
Well, then by all means, I'll. Oh, it's quite heavy. I forgot. I feel like my arms are made of rice noodles. Okay, let me try this. All right, I've got it.
All right. Very good. As you begin to leave the room, a sudden familiar chime sounds. As a tentacle once again pops down with a familiar robotic face on it. Officer Peter, you seem to be taking a piece of the ceiling tile with you. Is your intention to redecorate Alpha Complex better than Friend Computer can?
No, I'm just doing what the equipment officer told me to do and taking this piece of equipment for repairs.
It immediately swoops over to David. Equipment officer, have you
Yes?
designated this piece of equipment to go along with Officer Peter?
I didn't tell him to do that.
You lying bastard.
As the two say this, the computer now switches over to Bobby. Communications officer, please report.
Well, we went back to the room to make sure we grabbed everything. And yes, the tile was part of the situation. So we figured we might as well take everything with us. We never know what we're going to need.
Insufficient answer. You receive 1 treason star.
What the fuck
As
is
it looks back
happening?
over to Peter. Ceiling tile is not described as some of your assigned equipment. As per your briefing officer, you shall receive 3 treason points.
Oh, that makes me feel bad.
You should take some
Happiness
of your
is
pills.
mandatory.
I'm still riding high on my last one.
He really is milking it.
I'll put down this tile. Is there somewhere the computer would like me to put down this tile? Or shove it up your ass?
The computer now suddenly comes down. There is no allotted space other than the ceiling. Please put debris back into the ceiling.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead, and if you're attempting to throw the ceiling tile back into the ceiling, how would you go about doing that?
Well, this is definitely involving chutzpah more than anything else.
Very
and,
good.
Obviously, I'm gonna try to use my throw on this. So,
Okay.
that gives me a 2. Okay, hold on. I've hit the test thing. My note is 2. Bam. Do I need to use a computer dice?
Are you questioning the computer?
I'm absolutely not.
Very good.
Boom. I got a 0.
Very good. As you throw it up into the ceiling, you actually break a few other tiles just that are residing beside it, as all of it seems to fall down. Again, the familiar chime now pipes up.
Oh,
Officer Peter, it seems that you have caused more destruction of the room. That is seen as a traitor's act. Please state your intentions.
My intention is to apologize profusely and continue doing my job to the best of the computer's ability.
I have a report for the computer, if you have time.
Officer Robert, the computer flies over to you. Loyalty Officer Robert, please report.
Pleasure to see you again, as always. I unfortunately have to report that I believe our associate Peter is intentionally destroying the property of the company.
Son of a...
The computer flips back over to Peter. Happiness Officer Peter, quite the allegations being laid against you. Do you have response?
Yeah, that would be that the person who is casting these accusations has done nothing but make accusations, which for me is a sign of discontentment. If you're not happy, you're blaming people for being unfulfilling in your work in order to find meaning in your actual activity instead of your role.
No.
The computer kind of tilts its heads towards you. Loyalty officer is responsible for reporting any treasonous activities. Reporting the job of the loyalty officer as treasonous is treasonous within itself. And as it says this, you see as a panel opens up for the ceiling as a very large anvil seems to fall out directly on top of Peter. You watch as his body squishes underneath it, flattened completely at this point. You watch as a few panels open up on the wall as two scrub bots seem to make their way out and begin cleaning up the loose bits of debris of what's the leftover Peter is. Peter, go ahead and mark down one of the clones. You are now on clone number 2.
Wow, we haven't even made the second room.
You'd have to clean that up.
As the scrub bots continue to clean all around, they seem to leave the black jumpsuit off to the side, which surprisingly still stays intact. You begin to hear a suckling noise, like slime being pushed through a straw, as a hole opens up in the top of the ceiling, as a brand new Peter flops down onto the floor directly beside you.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Peter, you would recall all of the memories of your previous clone up until this point, or at least up until your death.
Okay. Well, I don't know why I'm naked again, but I'm just gonna quickly grab my clothes in this, inconspicuously pile of blood-stained mass and just wear that. Ooh, ate some pills. Okay, cool. We were going to go repair the bot with the workstation thing, right?
Tech
Well,
bay.
come on, guys.
Yes.
Let's get going.
All right. As you all leave the room, as soon as you leave the room immediately in front that you've been in, your cerebral cortex begins to activate again. A large yellow arrow appears in the air in front of you, indicating you should turn down the left corridor. Unfortunately, you can't see much of the corridor as it is now being completely obstructed by the arrow itself.
Well, if they say, seems all right.
Is the arrow like a physical arrow or is it like a...
It's like a projected
So for
arrow,
clarity
like
for
in your
everybody,
brain.
you do have a cerebral cortex embedded into your brain. So it is projecting holographic images through your eye holes into and overlaying an augmented reality on top of it. So right now there is a massive yellow arrow pointing forward and twisting to the left that seems to take up the vast majority of your sight throughout the hallway.
Well,
Oh,
it's telling us to go left. Let's just follow it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go. Come on, Bobby.
Okay,
I
very
suggest
good.
the team lead should be in the front.
No problem. And I lead the way.
Okay. As Raina takes the lead, you begin to walk down the hallway when sirens suddenly begin to blare as a large pop-up window appears in your field of view, alerting you to the proximity of a wanted terrorist known as Wazname, not the dead. Be careful. He may be after your mops.
Not my mom.
What's a mother?
Mops.
Mops?
Mops.
Oh.
Mops.
Oh, moms.
No.
I said moms.
Mom. Oh, mom. They said mom.
Hold them close. Do not get them. Don't want these gone. Please.
We need the mops.
Yes.
Okay.
Well-
Everyone, hold on to your mops. Let's proceed.
The pop-up...
I'll fight him if he comes by. And oh shoot, I can't. I'm holding the bot. Someone take my mop and use it as a weapon.
I'll dual wield mops.
All right. So equipment officer David is dual wielding mops. Fantastic. The pop-up message that completely fills up your peripheral is now blocking most of your sight, but around the edges, you suddenly spot a man in a black uniform, very similar to yours, as he begins to sprint down the corridor towards you. He looks absolutely terrified as you see flashing over top of his head 5 gold stars floating in the air above him. What do you do?
Stop
Treason!
him.
Treason!
He's a traitor.
Is it
I- I
terrorist?
Okay.
I would try.
Can I try to trip him with my
I will.
mop?
Yeah, I will try to trip them up. Yeah.
Okay, dual tripping. We have dual wielding and dual tripping. This is off to a great start, folks. Okay, I need you both. What skill and attribute would you allot to tripping an individual of this nature?
I am going to use violence, and I am going to use melee because I'm gonna like really jab it.
Very good. And Mikkel, what would you be using?
I'm going to use the second one, which I have no idea how to pronounce. Chutzpah. Whatever
Chutzpah.
it is.
It's chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
You got to roll
All
the
right.
R.
That
Chutzpah a
one.
little bit.
You gotta roll the R that isn't there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Put
Got
one
it.
in.
Okay. And I will use athletics.
Very good.
22.
Okay, both of you go ahead and input those sums into your nodes, and let's see what happens.
I did already.
Okay.
Hey, kids at home, how do you think we're doing so far?
Horrible.
Enjoying your time?
Who are you talking to?
No one at all. Thanks
I-
for asking.
Okay.
Just keeps
I
looking
get
at
it,
a
I
wall.
Very good. Results are in. Fantastic. As both of you attempt to jab outward with the butt end of your mops, you seem to collide with one another, completely tip to tip, which we all know is a very dangerous thing to do. Am I right? As you do, you see that there's a little bit of a spark that comes off each. You see scorch marks now flying up the ends of your handles. However, the flash from the actual spark seems to blind the individual as he begins to run off course, now slamming directly in between Jessica and Bobby on top of the scrubbot directly. As he lands on top of it, you can see that the scrubbot all of a sudden begins to screech to life, although working little less than what you would expect a typical scrubbot to do. You watch as the individual now gets pulled underneath the scrubbot as it begins to whirl blades around the bottom of it. You watch as spurts of blood come out either side, very much like a very grotesque snowblower.
Thank you,
Well,
Scrubbot. Thank
At
you.
least it's working now.
Well, not fully. Almost. We have to restore it back to its full functioning capability because bots are important. Wouldn't you want to be restored back to your full capability?
You like robots, don't you?
I love robots. Yes, I do.
Fantastic.
Peter loved to be restored to his whole capabilities just before, right?
Yes. Don't you feel refreshed, Peter?
I feel pretty good. I'm definitely feeling very happy.
Great.
That
All
said-
equipment needs to be in working conditions, so I completely agree. If it's only 50%, we need to bring it to 100% very quickly.
Very good. Very good. Well, with that said, Wasnot is now very dead, and it seems that it is completely and utterly all of your fault. You watch as a squad of troubleshooters now thunder down the corridor completely onerous and very valoristic, if you will, in their red armor, laser pistols drawn, and now halt by what's left of the remaining corpse underneath the scrubbot. Their leader now fixes one of their metallic eyes as he calls out, "Which one of you is responsible for this?"
I raise my hand.
I would want that, Reyna.
I'll point at Michael.
It was myself and Michael.
Very good. As you indicate yourself as the perpetrator in this, Reyna, the team leader yells out, "Friend computer, I am arresting this infrared working party for the unauthorized termination of the notorious fleeting terrorist known as Wasname." As he continues onward, suddenly a familiar chime suddenly interrupts. "Congratulations, infrared working party. You have aided Alpha Complex with your selfless act of quick thinking. One less terrorist is one more reason to sleep well at night. Each of you receive 500 XP points immediately. This is enough to raise each of you to red level. Well done. As the group of troubleshooters in red jumpers kind of begin to applaud with relatively annoyed looks on their faces.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
However, sensory feedback indicates that destruction of valuable alpha complex equipment, specifically a revised standard or 2. Infrared Working Party, each of you has 5 XP points deducted as a lesson in taking care of your valuable items that are within your care.
Thank you.
In recognition of your abilities, you are being reassigned to a new mission where there will be less chance of damage to equipment. Await new briefing details. Thank you. And the tentacle flies back up into the ceiling.
Thank you.
Each of you are now 5 points, just 5 points away from being promoted to red level.
Technically 4, because
Yeah,
we got
4.
1
Yeah.
point before.
Leave the room. For complying to leave the room.
Are you questioning friend computer?
No.
No.
Very good. 5 points.
Nice.
As the yellow arrow now falls away from your vision. You see, now turning the corner is your briefing officer, Roz.
Hey, Roz, I'm Peter.
Hi, Roz.
Hi, Roz. I'm David, equipment officer.
Yes, I'm well aware of who all of you are. We met in the briefing room, remember? Is there a problem with your memory banks?
No.
Yes.
Computer,
No.
can we get a test on computer banks for Alpha Red Working Party? Again, a familiar tone rings out as a tentacle drops down from the ceiling. Good afternoon, gang. Are we reporting issues with your memory banks?
Not one bit. We're smart as a whip.
Roz
Not
speaks up
mine.
at this point in time. Computer, I'd like to report insubordination for Equipment Officer David, who seems to be ignoring my direct command. Immediately, you see another 2 treason stars pop up above David's head.
Oh, look at that.
What does that take you to, Peter? Or to David?
4.
4. Very good. Very good. Computer now looks to the rest of you. We will do a biopsy on memory banks. Immediately turning towards Jessica as the first. She turns to you. What do you remember, Jessica?
I remember a flushing noise and feeling slimy. And then I remember being born. And then I remember putting my clothes on. And then I remember the ceiling falling down. And then I remember Peter dying. Then I remember Peter being reborn. And, we're saving the bot. And the bot is kind of saved.
The computer now twists itself back over to Roz. Testing has been complete. Validation approved. However, Jessica has reported the aspect of being slimy. Slimy is clearly against hygiene standards as it moves over to Mikkel. Hygiene officer, please report why one of your teammates is reporting to be anything less than standard hygienic cleanliness.
My colleague was just reporting being slimy at the beginning. This has been taken care of, and now is clean. If she has to report any uncleanliness, I will take care of it.
Are you
right away.
reporting that Officer Jessica was unclean at some point?
Based on her affirmation? Maybe. I haven't seen it. I've cleaned the room thoroughly as soon as we arrived.
Mikkel, you look over to Jessica and see 2 treason stars pop up above her head. Uncleanliness at any time is against Alpha Complex standards.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very good. Reporting it, Officer Mikkel. You receive 1 XP point as it flies back up into the ceiling.
Wow, you got 1 XP point for that? You should share it with me, I think.
All right.
No.
As Roz kind of looks on a little bit smugly towards all of you, the other troubleshooters begin to leave as another larger scrub bot appears from a hatch in the wall and begins to make itself busy ingesting the corpse of Wasnam, the what's left of some of the broken mop pieces on the floor, as well as the smaller scrub bot, as it makes a bit of a humming noise as it kind of ingests it all into itself before making its way back into the hatch of the wall.
Can I pocket, like, surreptitiously one of the, like, broken bits of wood from the mop?
How would you go about doing that?
Just as we're kind of like walking past the scrubbers while they're doing their thing, just like kind of like see like a bit of the broken segment of the mop, and then just kind of like pick it up and pocket it.
And what skills would you be doing to accomplish this?
I would like to use my brains because I'm very smart, and my bluff to kind of deceive my actions.
Okay, go ahead and input your node into the thing. Sorry, I was just checking a message that someone just sent me on Zoom. We'll get to that in a second, okay?
Okay.
All right, test result is a 1.
A 1, you say?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Perfect. As you attempt to pocket a little piece of the broken shard, Equipment Officer David, watching very closely to the equipment that has been assigned to your team, you do take note of Peter pocketing a small little sliver.
Hold on. 1 second. Put it down now. And can I use my chutzpah and intimidate for that?
Absolutely.
Can I oppose it with my chutzpah and intimidate?
Absolutely not.
Sorry, 1 second. It's a
3 and a 2, very good.
Yeah.
You do seem to intimidate Officer Peter from what he's doing, as he looks at you kind of shocked, having now been revealed as a potentially traitorous thief.
We need to report that.
Loyalty Officer Robert.
Yeah, I suppose I do have to do my job now, don't I? What was your intention with that wood?
Well, you see, we are heading to the place where they're making repairs, and, well, I mean, waste not, want not, after all.
I don't believe you. Computer?
I'd like to use my bluff to decide if he believes me or not.
Go for it.
The computer falls down to the main area. Loyalty Officer Robert, please report.
I am sorry to have to report that we do have some treacherous activity coming from... God damn it. Unit Peter.
Peter is a unit, I will agree.
From Peter's unit.
This unit.
Be advised, he did intend to steal property of the company.
All right, the tendril now whips over to Peter. Officer Peter, please justify why you are stealing company property.
Well, you see, I was trying to take the broken pieces of the mop that was destroyed by Infrared Team to the repair bay in order to get repaired, you know. But I feel as though perhaps my relationship with Mr. Robert has been somewhat strained, you know, since, well, I mean, just between us, as the happiness officer, noticing how happy people are has been my thing. And I've noticed that Mr. Robert's been showing some aberrant behaviors in their psychology, talking to walls and seeing things where they aren't there, you know. And this is the second time they've drawn attention to something that I believe they're just, you know, kind of making up, you know, this whole thing.
It whips back over to Loyalty Officer Robert. Loyalty Officer Robert, please give indication of your level of happiness.
Oh, I'm at 100%. Thank you so much for asking.
Dopamine levels confirmed as it whips over to Equipment Officer David.
Hello?
Officer Peter is reporting that he is returning equipment to R&D.
Oh, well, that's interesting, computer, because the way he was picking it up, it was clearly not within view of us. I just happened to see it out of the corner of my eyes, and frankly, that is some treasonous work here. I cannot repair a broom without that missing wood splinter.
It tilts its head toward you and immediately goes over to the communications officer. Communication Officer Bobby, please relay what has happened.
What we have here is a situation where, after we apprehended Wazname, we have Peter here trying to pickpocket stuff for himself. We were not given any direction, so therefore he's doing this on his own accord.
Would you describe this as a treasonous act that you would be willing to report?
Considering we weren't told which direction we were supposed to go, he is stealing property.
Thank you for your reports. Please enjoy your day. And remember, happiness is mandatory. As the tentacle now flies back up into the ceiling, you watch as two turret guns seem to come out of the side of the wall. Massive miniguns that now aim directly on top of Peter and open fire, turning them into a complete Swiss cheese.
God damn it. I want Robert to look at my face.
Officer Peter, go ahead and mark off another clone. You are now on clone number 3. And apparently, I don't know what I've done to OBS, but as soon as I change one of the clone numbers, it changes all of yours. So I'm not going to do that. We'll just assume that that is done on that you guys are all keeping track of such wonderful things. We'll remove those, so there's no confusion around it. So everyone else are on clone number 1, and I believe Peter, you're on clone number 3 right now.
What?
Fantastic. Yeah. All right.
Oh, poor Peter.
You watch.
Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. We should get moving.
Fantastic poem.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that contribution.
Very good, very good. As the now Swissed piece of Peter's lies little bits on the ground, another scrub bot suddenly appears as it begins to clean up, and again, directly shot like from a cannon out of the ceiling down onto the ground. You see a brand new naked Peter suddenly appear directly beside you all. Peter, you look over to see that the scrub bot seems to be catching some of your uniform at this point, and you do realize how important your standard issue jumpsuit is.
Hey, oh, give me that back.
Very good.
Hi, I'm Peter.
You do take it
Pleasure
back.
to see you again, Peter.
Welcome back, chap.
Jessica will go over to Peter and say, "How are you feeling?" And she'll rub his shoulder.
Well, I'm great.
Oh, good.
Absolutely fine.
I'm so glad to hear that. You're feeling a lot better, less traitorous?
Oh, yes, much less traitorous. At least, 90% less traitorous.
There's still 10% traitorousness that you're feeling?
No, 90% of the traitorousness, which would be less than the 10% that would be there, unless I was 100% a traitor last time, which I'm pretty sure I wasn't, because that wasn't me.
You sound uncertain.
Yeah, Jessica was trying to look at me.
Well, I was born 2 seconds ago.
Loyalty Officer Robert.
We're gonna kill him again.
All right.
Can I get my shoes on first at least? Hold on. Wait.
No
There we
need.
go.
If they'll just be taken off, traitor.
It could have been a star, you know.
He just admitted to being a 10% traitor.
Peter,
Uh,
do you have anything you want to tell me?
Yes. But none of which would be within concordance with the things that I should be fulfilling as the happiness officer. Instead, I will say this. That I greatly admire your loyalty, your candor, And of course, your happy spirit. Your dopamine levels are an inspiration to us all.
I think he's all right. I think he's okay. We should keep on with the mission.
Roz lets out a very loud sigh at whatever the hell this is.
Yeah, we'll wait
She
for our
looks
briefing.
to all of you. So I suppose you all think you're very clever. The sector's in crisis, and you go around interrupting the work of other troubleshooters. I'm not impressed. Plus, you've been reassigned effective immediately. It says here that you're meant to go to Sector Hoi, where you must find a plug, unplug it, and plug it back in again. Don't ask me questions, I know as much as you do. Cerebral Cortex will guide you there. Keep hold of your mops, or at least what's remaining of your mops. This is a 150 XP point mission. And oh great, apparently I'm coming too.
Well,
Okay.
happy to have you.
She doesn't respond in any way, shape, or form as she turns her back to you and begins to make her way down a corridor. A notification pops up in everyone's cerebral cortex, directing them to the nearest production, logistics, and commissary depot. You will see, again, the large arrow now taking up most of your room, but you can make sight of just the bottom of Roz's feet, able to follow her if you need to.
I'll follow Roz. Follow
So
me,
is this
everyone.
arrow like completely solid, or is it like kind of like translucent where you can kind of see through it?
A tentacle now falls down from the ceiling as a familiar, friendly computer face pops up in front of Officer Bobby. Communications Officer Bobby, are you reporting malfunctioning of your cortex?
Absolutely not.
As you say this, you now see a number of pop-up windows now appearing directly in front of you. The computer speaks out, "We should test. Please complete this 98-question survey on your favorite bubbly bouncy beverage." Officer Bobby, along with the massive yellow arrow in your peripherals, you now have multiple pop-ups of asking if you want to start the questionnaire.
I was told to, so yes.
Very good. Your peripheral now completely covered. You can no longer see and considered blind at this point. You should be careful of how you actually follow some of your companions or where you're planning on going at this point. As the tentacle pulls back up just as it says, "Please complete survey in order to determine whether or not cerebral cortex is working properly," as it pulls back up into the into the computer.
How do I complete a survey?
Oh no.
A tentacle falls down from the ceiling as a familiar computer face pops up in you. Officer Bobby, are you reporting that your cortex is no longer functioning in order to complete a survey?
No. I was just talking out loud. I'm completing the survey.
Are you
Everything's good.
having problems with your administration duties?
Absolutely not. I'm perfectly fine. Thank you.
Very good, as it pulls itself back up into the ceiling.
David,
Yes,
can I have my mop back?
of course. Here's one. I don't worry. I will guide Bobby while he's doing his exam. Bobby,
Take it out for you.
he grabs onto my shoulder of my jumpsuit.
Okay.
Don't worry, I have you. Just listen to the sound of my voice.
Very good. Production, logistics, and commissary turn out to be the next door to the technical service department that, luckily enough, you were supposed to be going to in the first place to deliver your scrub bot. PLC, as most individuals know it within the Alpha Complex, your cerebral cortex, reminds you, is where you get your mission-critical equipment from. And as you walk up to the counter proper, you see a bored-looking technician as he looks up at all of you. Infrared working party to the sector, hoy. Huh? Wait there. As the technician turns around and walks away. You can see Roz now kind of tapping her feet, looking around, whistling a little bit of a tune as you wait for the technician to approach.
And so our intrepid adventurers wait yet again to see what might come next.
Is there a chance that I can stealthily put Bobby's hand on the person walking away right now so he does not obey?
He is technically behind a counter, so it's more of a kiosk than anything else. Think of like an evidence room in a police department.
I've been in those.
That's a weird thing to
How
say.
is your-
That is a weird thing to
Who
say
would
right
know-
now. Like
who would
that's
know what it looks like?
Super weird.
Saying that.
I
It's
know.
a bad example.
that's-
Anyone who's watched a movie like involving a police station?
Also, why have you been in an evidence room before?
I haven't. That's my point. No one has
I'd
been
like
in
to
that.
report treasonous activity. Apparently, Raina has been to evidence lockup.
Oh no.
Oh god! You gotta watch what we say,
Tentacle
guys.
falls down from the ceiling as it looks to Officer Peter. Are you reporting the violation of specific sectors as per what is allowed for the infrared section group?
Yes.
And who is moving into unauthorized areas?
Oh well, that's definitely Raina there, having confessed to illicit activities involving rooms and regions beyond that of the places that have been designated for us here.
It tilts its head, looking at you kind of cockeyed for a moment. What level designation of room did she walk into?
It was a place that, well, I think she could tell you more about it because, it's knowledge beyond my station, and I'm not prying into such things because, I wouldn't want to come across like a traitor, huh?
Are you indicating that you have not completed your full report before reporting to the computer, as wasting the computer's time would be known as treasonous?
I believe myself to be wasting the computer's time, but in the sense of making sure that that the leader of infrared is leading us well and not leading us down the path of a traitor.
Inaccuracy of report and non-compliance to proper form and best practices would be seen as treasonous. You watch as 2 treason stars now pop up above Peter's head.
Now, given the only person who's having this, do the treason stars carry across when you new clone?
If you hit 5 treason stars, you will be executed.
Oh.
Yeah, but if I had 2 treason stars with my previous clone...
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't carry over.
Oh, okay.
So each clone has 5.
Correct.
Okay. Very well.
Really skirting the edge there.
Very, very good. As the computer now pulls itself back up into the computer into the ceiling proper. As the technician now begins to walk back, he begins to hand a number of equipment over to Officer David.
Oh, thank
He
you.
begins to tick off a few things. He says, okay, crowbar, well, no, we issued the last one of those about an hour ago. Breathing apparatuses, no, we're all out of those. Jetpacks, he looks up to you and gives a little bit of a cockeye. No. Scrub bot, no, that, we were supposed to have one of those come in shortly, but, there must have been some kind of a hitch. Yeah, it looks like you've got your mops here. Good. They'll do. And he hands out a number of other items towards you. You see He first hands out what look to be 3 grenades. The grenades themselves, are able to blow up a pretty wide radius, about 5 seconds after you've actually released said grenades. You could probably modify it to explode on a timer or a trigger or something along those lines, but you should be very careful with these type of things. Whoever gets this piece of equipment has a +3 to their violence. He reaches under the desk, producing a very, very large minigun as he plops it down with a bit of effort on top of the table. Now, the minigun is a little bit of a misleading name, as the thing is very, very massive. In order to fire this minigun, first you'll roll. Whoever gets the piece of equipment will have to roll a d6, and that will represent how many times they can shoot the minigun before it runs out of ammo. And beyond that, you wouldn't be able to tell how many shots are left unless you absolutely take the entire thing apart. So for the officer, for equipment officer, that is 3 rounds of ammo for you, and they get a +1 to violence for that. Plopping another piece of equipment down on the desk, you can see a large puck, almost like a torus or donut, with a number of receptacles falling out on either side of it. You take note of this as a multi-adapter. And there's lots of things that need to be recharged, but when there's only one outlet, you might be the most popular troubleshooter in all of the complex with one of this multi-adapter. You get a +1 to mechanics for that piece. You also receive a grappling gun that does, as the name says, gives a +2 mechanics. And last but certainly not least, a megaphone, which gives a +3 to chutzpah.
So do we all get each piece of equipment, or do we have to divvy it up?
That has been being given to the equipment officer.
Hello. Well,
Officer David.
Yes.
May I have the grenades, please?
Interesting. I believe that's
If I might cut it. Why do you want the grenades, team leader?
Based on my skill set, I think it is the way I can serve the team best.
Fair enough.
But wouldn't me, as the equipment officer, feel like I should be making that decision?
You are welcome to. That is why I asked.
Tell you what. I'll give you 1 grenade.
Do I still get a +3 to violence if I only have 1 grenade?
Absolutely.
Ooh, thank you.
David,
Yes?
if I may, could I please also have a grenade?
Hold on, if I could cut in.
Oh.
Why do you want a grenade?
Well, because just in the same way, like Raina, I think that it's the best thing that I could do to serve the team out of all the options that are there.
I'm having trouble believing you.
I'm really good at fighting. Do you want to fight me?
Are you inciting violence while we're supposed to be completing an objective?
Only with your consent.
From the ceiling once again, as it immediately looks towards Officer Jessica. What the hell are you again? Oh yeah, Administration Officer Jessica. Are you enticing violence?
No, not at all.
It immediately swings over to Communication Officer Bobby. Please repeat exactly what Officer Jessica just said.
Well, Officer Jessica said basically that she's really good at fighting, so she would like the grenade to enhance, and when Robert over there was questioning. She basically wanted to know if he wanted to fight her.
The tentacle now twists over to the team lead, Raina. Is this what Officer Jessica said, verbatim, as per the reporting?
Yes.
Very good. As it looks over towards Jessica, violence is seen as traitorous. Please report to the closest unaliving station.
But I wasn't actually violent. There was no violence.
Are you neglecting the report of the computer?
Sure. Yes. That's what happens. Yes.
I'm afraid I do have to report some very treacherous.
As Officer Jessica denies the orders of the computer, you watch as a small hole appears in the side of the wall. Out of it jettisons 5 spinning saw blades as it begins to dissect Jessica Raina, or Officer Jessica, into multiple pieces as she falls down to the ground. Officer Jessica, go ahead and move on to clone number 2. You are at 5 clones left.
This is like demented Squid Games.
I know.
It kind of
I know. It really is.
Oh, parting is such sweet sorrow that I shall say goodnight till it be morrow.
You really have the silver tongue, don't you, Robert?
Yes, it's almost as if he's been single-handedly responsible for the death of everyone that's died so far.
Yeah, I mean,
Merely doing my
Conveniently.
job.
you know what they say, a cow can't change its spots, so...
Well, while we're waiting for
It's a
a new
cow.
Jessica, I was wondering if I could have the megaphone.
The megaphone, you say?
Yes.
You know what, Peter, you can have the megaphone. Take the megaphone, Peter.
Hey!
A new Jessica appears.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for reporting me earlier. That was very kind of you all.
Of course.
As the technician watches onward, as Officer David continues to distribute some of the equipment. Oh, hold on, buddy. Hold on. You're going to need to sign for these, as he hands a form over to you. You can see it is roughly about 300 pages long.
Oh, wait. As the administration officer, I feel like I should be handling the paperwork. Should I not?
I mean, unless you want to sign for all the equipment, it's your responsibility then.
I'll just oversee David signing the paperwork then. It's very important I make sure the paperwork is done correctly.
Yes, and I will sign it till the cows come home. Please bring it over to me.
What is with you and cows? Do you really like cows, David?
Bond creatures.
And finished with my survey. Yes.
Good job, Bobby. I'm proud of you.
I would like to check everybody to make sure nobody has splatters of blood on their uniform.
Oh, yeah.
You do
My
see,
uniform is bright
you do
red.
see, let's do this by die roll. Loyalty Officer Roberts, as well as, Equipment Officer David both have spottings of blood on both of their uniforms.
Computer?
Motherfucker.
As the tentacle once again comes down from the ceiling. Hygiene Officer McKell, please report.
I would like to report uncleanliness from Robert and David. Splatters of blood on their uniform.
Computer,
Confirmed.
Computer, if I may, this blood was not put there by me. It was clearly put there by Jess, was it not? It was their blood that came onto me.
Immediately,
So why
the
is it my fault?
swings over to Officer Jessica. Officer Jessica, have you been distributing your blood on some of your fellow officers' uniforms?
No, and if I might add, it's our responsibility to be clean. And I'm clean, but David is not.
Actually, I'd like to point out that technically it's Michael who's supposed to be keeping people clean. So all he's really done is report his dereliction of duty.
No, I'm the hygiene officer. You should know what you have to do. I'm just here to make sure you do it properly.
But you haven't been because you've got 2 people who are dirty right now.
Conflicting reports. Allotting treason numbers as David, Jessica, Peter, Robert, and Mikkel all receive 2 treason stars.
I'm at 5 treason.
As the 5th treason star now appears over top of David's head, you hear sirens going off once more. Terrorist detected. Terrorist detected. Terrorist detected. As 2 more slimmer tentacles now fall down from the ceiling, grabbing onto the ankles of David as suddenly he floats back up into the ceiling. You see a slight rain of blood droplets trickle down along with bits of ichor from the previously known David. Officer
back.
David, go ahead and mark down a one of your clones. And a few moments later, you hear a plopping noise as another clone falls from the ceiling.
Hello.
Hi, David.
Hello.
Thank you. Jessica
you want a
will
happy
clean
pill?
this up. Okay.
Anyways, where were we?
Okay.
Officer David immediately picks up the form that was on the ground and begins to complete it as required.
Jessica just wants to make sure she's clean.
Me
So,
too.
All
Okay.
that raining blood.
What skill would you use in order to clean yourself?
Jessica will use just looking at the skills, demolition.
Demolish those stains.
Jessica will use I don't know, chutzpah and use her charm. Make yourself shiny.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead and input that into your node for me.
Okay.
As you attempt to scrub away some of the blood, you seem to smear it more all over your clothes. Your small little speckles of blood at this point now becoming kind of spotted, much bigger stains all over your otherwise clean jumpsuit.
Can someone help clean me?
You got a little schmutz.
Tell you what, I'll help you. Don't worry, I got your back this time. You owe me one later.
Question. So I still have blood on my uniform also?
You do.
Who has a clean uniform?
Raina, Peter, Bobby, Mikkel, and David with his brand new fresh jumpsuit.
Team leader Raina.
Yes, Officer Robert.
I hate to be a bother, but would you mind trading uniforms for me? And I'd like to
Unfortunately-
use my chutzpah and my charm. Entice
Do
them
it.
to switch uniforms with me.
So it wouldn't necessarily work that way. The player does have direct ability to stop whatever it is. That only works on NPCs, bots, or circumstances.
All right. Guess
I
what?
must decline, Officer Robert. Your uniform is unhygienic.
In that case, I guess I'll use my violence and my stealth to turn around and vigorously scrub the spot.
All right, go ahead and input your node. Very good. You begin to scrub fervently against the stain, and as you do, you seem to scrub a little bit too hard. You get most of the stain off, however, you now have tattered and torn some of your uniform.
Bye.
Do we notice this?
Is there anything else Robert would like to do? Okay, fair enough. Then in that case, yes, you do all notice this.
I didn't want to have to I don't want to keep rolling and trying things.
Computer, I would like to report.
Of course you do.
Damage to company property. Robert seems to have defaced their uniform in clear defiance of facility property.
The tentacle falls down from the ceiling. Good day, team. Are you reporting defacing of Alpha Complex property?
Yes.
And who are you reporting against?
That would be Robert.
It immediately swivels over towards Officer Mikkel. Why is Happiness Officer reporting a hygiene issue? Your lack of communication shows a terrorist or treasonous way. And you watch as 2 more stars appear above Mikkel's eye plate or nameplate. How many stars are you at, Mikkel?
4. And I thought you said Robert, that's why I didn't reply.
Fair enough.
Looking at you.
Fair enough. All right, with that, the computer retracts back in once again. Roz now looking very frustrated as she looks to all of you. Can we please hurry this mission along? We don't have all day.
Almost done with these forms.
She turns and begins to walk away. Who's following her?
I'm following her.
I'm following.
If I can see it, I'll follow her. If not, then I'll just stand there. I don't know.
You have finished your survey, so you would be able to see.
Then I will follow her.
Okay, fantastic. As you all begin to follow behind Roz, you watch as she enters into a doorway. You all squeeze on what you would recognize as one of the turbo lifts within Alpha Complex. As the door closes behind you, the elevator drops and then changes its mind and goes up. And then changes its mind again and then goes down a little bit and then goes to the left. As Roz looks to you all, her hands crossed. It's meant to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least it does that.
Roz, are you questioning Alpha Complex equipment?
I'm sorry, Infrared. Are you questioning the responsibilities of a red-ranking officer?
Well, as a equipment officer, I can't help but feel a little defensive whenever someone tries to comment on our beautiful Alpha Complex equipment.
Okay.
We're not getting anywhere.
As a tentacle falls down from the center of the ceiling, it looks immediately towards Roz. Is there something you would like to report, Red Officer Roz? Yes, I would like to report the equipment officer for improper usage of their abilities and what their stature is amongst all of us. He defied me, computer. The
Pretty
computer
tall.
immediately looks over to the equipment officer. We are receiving a complaint against your unwillingness to report, to complete directives as told by Red Officer.
Can I intimidate the computer?
You can try.
I'll break the game.
Yeah.
You're dead.
You see, Equipment Officer David's a little bit steamed right now, and he goes, "Computer, I just do not like when someone talks poorly about Alpha Complex and they are beautiful equipment." And I'll roll Chutzpah and Intimidate.
Okay, go ahead.
Gonna go well.
Okay. 1 success. Fantastic. The computer tilts its head towards you. Defying any red clearance officer is treasonous and requires immediate execution.
I move away from David.
Me too.
Me
David, a
too.
step back.
Okay,
Yep.
so pretty much everybody is moving to the opposite side of the elevator away from Officer David.
Yeah.
Very good.
I don't want his
Yep.
blood on me.
As the computer kind of eyes at you for a moment, Officer David, it immediately twists over towards Team Lead Reyna. Improper delegation of your team is a treasonous act and is slotted for execution as the ground opens up underneath Team Lead Reyna. Jessica, Robert, Reyna, Peter, Mikkel, and Bobby, you all fall through the chute of the massively large hole that is now in the ground. All of you lose a clone.
Okay.
Great.
At least it's not just me.
And myself too.
No, you're fine.
At least I'm not wounded anymore.
Well, that was surprising.
All right, the elevator continues onward for quite some time. Over the course of time, you hear the slopping noises of new clones entering into the elevator proper, one at a time. Jessica comes down. Officer Robert, Reyna, Peter, Mikkel, and Bobby.
Thank you for that. I feel very good now. Very happy, Peter, because I know you're going to ask if I want drugs. I'm happy.
Okay.
I also feel very fresh and clean.
I'm also feeling great.
You know, after a while, I'm kind of enjoying the slide, you know, the sort of zooming thing.
All right, I think we're looking for a plug.
Right.
Yes.
Still in an elevator.
Yeah. Still on the elevator, it's traveling for a much longer period than what you would expected. You're not sure at this point, from the amount of time you've been in the elevator, whether it's still moving or just vibrating.
Can I check the cortex to see if we're going in the right direction?
Absolutely. You do see on the cortex visual, it is pointing upward. The arrow is, at least.
And we're going upward?
To the best of your knowledge.
Okay.
Jessica will start taking measurements of the elevator and documenting the measurements.
Very good. Okay. Suddenly, the elevator screeches to a stop, but the doors don't open.
You look at the doors, see what we can do to open them.
I look at Roz to see her reaction.
Raj just kind of rolls her eyes.
I'll take a look at the door.
Okay.
open it.
As you begin to inspect the door, how would you like to inspect the door?
Let's see. Mechanics and engineer.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead and input that into your node vessel. Vessel? Module? One of those.
I'd like to help by checking out the panel, not the doors themselves.
Okay, fair enough. What skill would you be using for that?
Using my brain and operation.
Very good. Okay.
Sent.
Okay. 0 successes. Fantastic. Officer Robert? 2 successes. Very good. Officer Bobby, you do recognize that these are elevator doors. Officer Robert, as you begin to look over the panel directly beside, you do see a button.
I think I see the problem.
I'll just press the button.
Okay. You press the button, and as you do, you hear a noise or a voice pop up. It seems the elevator is reporting directly to you. Substance in proximity to the door may cause inconvenience to occupants.
What the fuck does that mean?
I think we need to step away from the doors.
As you say this, you see another panel flick open on top of the other panel with another red button that says elevator override.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Team lead Reina.
Officer Robert. Oh, I mean, yes, Officer Robert.
I would like you to please prove to me and the rest of the team that you are capable of leading by pressing this button.
And then I'll back away.
Are you asking your leader to prove she's a leader by attempting to lead her?
That is correct. I need
That sounds like
ensure
insubordination.
that
Computer!
Gosh.
Team lead, Reyna. You've requested a report. Please report.
Loyalty Officer Robert attempted to obstruct our leadership structure by assigning me some instructions, which I believe constitutes us traitorous.
It immediately looks over to Officer Robert.
Actually, team lead Reina has been showing signs of treacherous activity, and I felt necessary to test.
It immediately looks over to Communication Officer Bobby. Please relay transcript.
That's good. Once Officer Robert pressed the button, a new red button appeared. He did not want to press it, so therefore he told team leader Reina to prove what kind of leader and press the button herself. So he was giving orders to the team leader.
Motherfucker.
It immediately turns over to Officer Robert. Officer Robert seems to have some confusion around delegation. Are your dopamine levels high enough?
Always.
No malfunction noticed. Officer Robert, you will be delegated to as per the team lead. Any other act would be seen as treasonous, as a treason star pops up above your name. How many treason stars do you have?
1.
Very good. Okay, fair enough. As it pulls back up into the ceiling, what would you all like to do?
I will press the red button.
Very good. Okay.
I move away from the door.
As you push the red button, the doors begin to open in front of you. Through the gap, you can see that the elevator has stopped about a meter below what looks to be a red carpeted floor level. Actually, no. The floor is more moving in slow motion. There seems to be a wave of a viscous red fluid that begins to cascade into the elevator compartment, covering you up to your waist. This red fluid seems to smell of strawberry flavoring. Outside, you can take note of the huge lobby area that is completely awash with it. And the guiding arrow seems to be pointing straight ahead. Your destination is, as it says, is subsector K15.
Hygiene Officer Michael, what should we do?
Taste the liquid.
It tastes very strawberry with a little bit of an acidic taste to it.
Team leader Reina, at this moment, pinning or attire will not be efficient. We need to move away from this zone, and as soon as we're clear, pin it.
Are you suggesting that we should stay in an unhygienic state?
Roz, completely annoyed with this conversation, climbs up out of the elevator and begins to making her way down the hallway.
Okay, I'll also see that she's going, and I'll follow her.
Follow.
I will follow.
Okay.
I'm on my way.
All right. You begin to wade through the dessert topping and find it very tough. It's very slow going at this point. And as you try to kind of swim through, it becomes even slower. It continues to reach upward to about waist height at this point. You move out of the lobby and down what looks to be a passage in the direction of the glowing arrow. And as you move away from the big space, the flooded sector seems to largely be deserted.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Wow.
boo.
Wow, look how proud he is.
He's so proud.
I would like to
Going-
check the dopamine levels of Jessica and Raina.
Okay, fair enough. Officer Jessica, Officer Raina, please report your dopamine levels.
Great, I love strawberries.
100%.
Very well.
The going is relatively slow as you walk down this corridor. The red fluid kind of sloppily, lazily presses up against the corridor, while most of the doors all around have been closed at this point in time. Eventually, you make your way to about a few hundred meters. You come to a bit of a crossroad. The guiding arrow says to turn left, but the corridor has a red stripe at eye level, meaning that only red level and higher citizens can go that way. As Roz begins to turn down that corridor and continues on without making any note. What do you all do?
I'll pull up the megaphone. Pardon us, Roz, but we are not authorized to enter this sector.
She turns back to you and says, "You are all with a red officer. This is for the mission."
Okay.
Thank you
Seems
for
to be
your
telling the truth.
clearance.
Mm-hmm.
She turns
Goodbye.
and continues walking down. You make it roughly about 20 meters into the corridor before Roz speaks out. "Computer, several infrared citizens are in a red level area." The voice of the computer now booms out from nearby speakers. "Infrared citizens, immediately vacate the red level corridor. Each of you now has 1 treason star. Citizen Roz receives 30 XP points for your vigilant attention."
I vacate the area.
I
Me too.
vacate the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
I'll vacate the area.
Okay.
Fall suit.
You very quickly make your way down the rest of the corridor, now finding yourself in what would be considered an infrared level clearance area. You can see a relatively smug smirk on Roz's face.
And
Well,
so
her dopamine levels are good.
we can't get through. We can't go. We don't have the clearance to go where we need to.
No, you've walked through the corridor and rushed through to the other side. It
I
just
see.
seemed to have been a stretch of about 20 feet, 50 feet of corridor overall. No doors
Meg all gave us
or
that one.
hallways or anything along those lines. Just for whatever reason, this hallway itself is designated red clearance.
Incredibly odd.
Can we report
Bless you.
treasonous activity of our superiors or no?
You can report anything you want.
No. I don't want to risk it.
All right, fair enough.
Now, listen, team. As the loyalty officer, I have a suggestion. We cannot proceed, but we also should not accuse a red level.
I can't
I'm
be
afraid we
proceed.
might need to take care of this one ourselves. May I have the minigun?
But we can proceed, right?
Yeah.
we
Because
passed it.
we're already through the hallway. Unless she gets in our way
We went
again.
past her?
No.
Well,
No,
you
we passed that
followed.
section.
So it was only about 50-foot stretch of hallway. You were reported on about halfway through. So instead of turning back, you just kind of hurried through to the other side.
So we went past her and kept going forward. Okay, I got it. now.
Okay.
Never
I
mind.
like the way you think though.
Yeah.
Okay. What's everybody
We're
doing?
just-
Is there anything
I
else
think
you'd
we're
like
just
to do?
continuing to follow her.
Okay, fair enough. As you continue on down this corridor, the corridor now widens into what you would recognize as a large food service area. Islands of what look like congealed breakfast mix floating serenely between the countertops that protrude above the low waves of the liquid. High above, you see sparks flicker between shattered light fixtures hanging from vaulted ceilings. Then, there's a yell. Ahoy, Sector! Torrents amidst of the scurvy Beauport. Overclock the mainsails and prepare to be motherboarded. 5 people now come into view, paddling a long table with sheets tied to its legs. A black flag with a skull dangles limply from one inverted leg table.
Is there a plug in the room?
The room is very large at this point in time, and still filled with this red liquid that the individuals seem to be rowing on. They look over to you, specifically eyeing down Officer David and the level of equipment that he seems to be holding. Avast ye landlubbers! There be booty treasure in the officer of equipment. Better bow down the hatches and barnacle the tentacles. As they continue on to row closer, as they become closer and closer, you can now see that each of them holding either fire axes or kitchen knives in hand.
Do they have any prison styles above them?
They do not.
Seems like something might be malfunctioning here. Should we call computer or...
I think I have a better idea, if you'll allow me.
Go ahead, Loyalty Officer Robert.
Equipment Manager David, I will need all of the grenades.
Can't do that because... Well... Raina has it, I believe. Getting the names mixed up again.
I have one, and then Jessica, I think, also has one.
No, you never gave her any.
I died before that, so
I also died.
They will. The only way they're gonna take this inventory is through my cold, dead clone hands. And I give him one of the grenades, and I hold up the minigun.
Okay. The pirates seem to stop paddling at that point. And state your intentions toward Infrared Beard's domain.
I'm gonna pull out the megaphone.
We're here to do our job, involving pulling out a plug and putting it back in again. Anything that impedes us is in direct violation of Cortex and facility procedures and will be destroyed with all the unbridled fury that is held within our requisitions officer and loyalty officer who are armed to the teeth.
All of their eyes and ears perk up a little bit. You know, I don't know. They're doing their job. I know they're trying to do it. Hold on. I got that. What about just one of you?
I look at Raina.
One of us do what?
One of us do.
Well, of course, you have to walk the scurvy plank.
Well, you better not take me, because I'll shoot you down. I'm going to use my chutzpah and intimidate again on them.
All right. Go ahead and input that into your node.
That is a 2 success.
Okay. And a computer die. Fair enough. As you yell this back out, they begin to congregate with one another again. Wow. Which one do you want to take? They all look pretty. We're pirate. Yeah, pirate. All right. We'll leave that one alone. But we need to take one of you to walk the plank.
All of
Mason
us
Jess.
were... Oh, okay.
No, go ahead, Raina. Sorry, go ahead.
All of us were assigned the job. So making one of us walk the plank would make all of us less likely to succeed, which would make you a traitor.
Now, hold on 1 second. If anyone is going to get the limelight and be the star here, it's going to be me.
Officer
All right,
Robert,
then.
are you offering and volunteering yourself to walk the plank?
Yes.
Okay. As the pirates begin to row over to you, they take you onto their ship. Again, the liquid only being about a meter high up into your waist, so you're easily able to walk over to them. As you climb aboard their long table, they all begin to cheer loudly. As they set a small serving tray from the cafeteria on the edge of it, they hold their fire axes and kitchen knives towards you. Now walk the plank, you scurvy cat. I think that's pirate. Walk the plank, you scurvy cat.
May I say a few last words?
They all look towards Infrared Beard as he nods his head.
He will get on one knee and hold the hand grenade up like so.
To be or not to be, whether 'tis nobler in the mind, suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune,
Yeah, it's just like
or to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing end them.
but he closes his hand on his grip on the grenade.
All right,
I'm gonna
fair
take
enough.
cover.
As an explosion now blasts out, like I said, from a 5-foot radius. Your colleagues still being in the vicinity, as you didn't mention that you waited out, but you were closer. As
Damn
the
right.
explosion happens, all of you now completely disintegrated into just that of tiny little ash. All of you can go ahead and remove one clone.
Perfect.
Great. Was that? Sorry, is that also including Robert?
That
Yeah,
would be including
I was
Robert.
holding
Yeah.
it, so yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Does that include Rose as well?
Roz also explodes, yep.
Nice.
As do all of the pirates.
But do they also come back?
Yeah, do they come back as well?
Do we have to renew that again?
Okay. As-
How many Peters do we have left?
As a few moments pass, what's remaining of the clones now plopping out into the gloop below them. You see everybody back in their current positions as the pirates now look towards all of you. Ha ha ha! I've seen you played pirating before.
Yeah, totally.
Very good, very good. Welcome to the domain of Infrared Beard. Where is it you plan on going today? Perhaps we can be of assistance.
Was there like a switch or a plug that I've seen around here?
Switch or a plug? Can you be a little bit more specific?
Not at all. Weed?
Well, if you're looking for a switch or a plug, there was one down that corridor down there, as he points to a corridor behind him.
Does the arrow point the same way?
The arrow is pointing the same way. Although it's a bit difficult to make out, as it still takes up most of your view.
Would you mind escorting us?
Well, of course we would. We would be happy to. As one of them kind of just waddles over to another turned over table as he grabs the leg and kind of pulls it back over to you guys. The finest of vessels that we have here in the domain of Infrared Beard.
Much obliged.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay? They all hop onto their table and begin to row away.
Okay, team, let's go.
All right.
Sounds good.
Each of you hopping up onto the table. How are we rowing?
Violently.
With them up.
Jessica will, use all of her strength to use her mop to what's it called? Row, and she'll say, "Row, row, row," to try and coordinate everybody.
Very good. Very good.
I'm gonna sing sea chanties to keep everyone's morale up.
Okay, fair enough. Can you sing one of the sea chanties for us, just so we know what it sounds like?
There once was a traitor named Robert, not related in any way to the one standing next to me. He really did some stuff that made me question why I had to travel upon a jam sea.
Anyone here is gonna sing a shanty, it's gonna be me, you hear me?
All right, in that case, Officer Robert, if you'd like to do your rendition of a sea shanty as you move along the red dessert topping.
I would love to. Floating in some strawberry goo. Here we come, we're coming for you. You stupid little plug, we're gonna get there and do the thing, and it's gonna be great.
Fantastic. Chat, who do you believe gave the best sea shanty? I'm not saying that it will kill the other one. I'm just saying that it might kill the other one.
Peter doesn't have a lot of clones left.
No, clone
Don't
5.
let that outweigh your decision.
You're on
Chad.
clone 5 right now?
I'm on clone 5.
Oh
I got one
no.
more left.
Okay, we've got
It'd be fun to see what would happen.
we've got a Peter vote in there, waiting for other votes to come in. But as you do, you continue away from the domain of Infrared Beard, as the guiding arrow now points down a darkened corridor. Dag, you can't vote for yourself. The walls are
rules.
narrow here. The ceiling is lowered and more wiring has been exposed, seemingly eroded by some of the red dessert topping. After another few minutes, the passage opens up into a circular room with a wide spiral staircase ascending upward. A thick stream of red dessert topping pours down from the area above. Your cerebral cortex pings gently to let you know that you've arrived. However, there seems to be no plug.
Where's Roz?
Roz is on the ship, allowing you guys to row. It's more of a gondola for her at this point in time, as she kind of watches and oversees the progress of your working team.
Is there anything else in the room, like against the walls, that could be obscuring an outlet?
How would you like to investigate?
I'm annoyed with the pirates and fed up. I would like to violently throw. Nope. Move things aside while at all times respecting company property.
So
violence melee.
Violence and melee. Okay, go ahead and input that into your node module.
Okay. I did it. Did it work?
Very good. Okay, as you begin to push some of the debris that floats around atop the red viscous liquid, you do take note of the staircase that seems to be raveling upward. However, you do take note of the staircase also heads downwards into what looks like a large pit that has been completely filled with this jam at this point. But from eye level, doesn't seem to be any plugs.
I have a theory.
Okay, let's hear it.
My theory is it's not a wall plug, but a plug that might drain this room. So if we unplug it, it will drain, and then we replug it.
Spectacular theory. Let's test it. Can I do I have to swim to the bottom, I guess?
Idea, team lead. Oh, sorry, my voice is this. We could use the grappling hook to maybe get down there faster.
They all sound like great ideas to me.
Okay, here you go.
I will go first. I guess I'll like attach the hook to myself and attempt to swim.
So you're just hooking the gun to your
Why not
belt
shoot
and then
it?
swimming
No,
down.
Oh, it's a grappling hook.
Sorry,
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
usually what a
Okay.
grappling
So
gun
sorry.
does. Yeah, that's.
I didn't know
yeah.
it was a gun. I heard hook.
I
Okay.
think I said hook. Sorry.
Oh. Then I'll see if I can. I don't know. I feel like if it was
I
a
mean, you
drain,
can-
it would be in the middle.
I mean, you can still do it the same way. You just fire it out and then just tie the rope to you and then give one of us the gun so we can pull you back in.
If I don't have to swim down there, I don't want to.
Well, you're the leader. You can tell someone to swim down.
It's true.
That's true. Michael, you look like a good swimmer. Why don't you go swim down there to try to find out where the drain is? That way we can have an informed shot with our grappling gun.
I'm actually a very bad swimmer. I don't think I'll make it.
Are you saying no to our team leader?
I don't
I don't recall. I don't
I'm
recall
just-
her asking how good a swimmer you are. I heard her say get stepping.
No, she said like, would you like to go down?
No, I said
No.
you look like a good swimmer.
He said you look like a good swimmer, and then asked you to go down there.
Jessica looks to Robert.
And I said I don't look like a good swimmer. There it is.
Michael,
But then you're-
I'm gonna have to ask. Are you feeling any treacherous thoughts right now?
Not really. Do you?
Do you not believe in our team leader?
Yes, I do. But do you?
Is this line
Yes,
of
I do.
questioning stressing you out and making you unhappy?
Not
Either of
really.
you.
Robert, are you avoiding all questions I'm asking you?
I'm the loyalty officer. I don't answer questions. Excuse me, first of all. Second of all, have you ever eaten a bag of Cheetos and then licked your fingers afterwards? Computer?
And as it immediately pops back up, you see the smiling face of the animatronic computer once again. Good day, team. Welcome, and happy to see all of you again. I assume your progress in your mission is going well. Officer Robert, you have something to report.
Yes. Our operation is going very well. Unfortunately, it could be going better. We are having some treacherous activity from Michael. And I have witnesses. Team lead, Raina can attest to this.
Please describe the traitorous activities.
Insubordination.
It immediately
That's
turns
it.
its attention towards Mikkel. Is this true? You are not following designation by Team Lead Raina.
Team leader asked me if I was a good swimmer. I said I wasn't.
It looks over to Team Lead Raina. Report.
I stated that Mikhail appeared to me to be a good swimmer. I didn't ask him if he was a good swimmer. So I said he looked like one, and then I told him to swim down to complete the mission. And he refused.
It turns toward Officer Mikkel. Refusing the team lead is a traitorous activity and goes against all bureaucracy as it turns over to Officer Jessica. Not following with administrations is a traitorous activity. Please
What?
report to the closest unlifing receptacle.
What administrations? What? What administrations?
Are you
The
unclear of what
administrations.
your officer role is?
Yes.
Not knowing your role as the officer is a treasonous activity. As it immediately sucks back up into the ceiling, you watch as Officer Jessica, by her cortex, seems to ignite as she begins to vibrate a little bit before her head just completely explodes. You watch as her body falls down into the viscous red fluid as it begins to float on, off into the sea. A few moments later, another Officer Jessica pops down directly on the table beside you all. Officer Jessica, go ahead and remove one of your clones.
Done. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, you got in trouble when the other two were fighting.
I'm not out of game. Still no idea why, but okay. Okay, so what are we doing about this plug?
Mikhail is swimming to see where it is. To test your theory.
I will ask for the gun. Grappling gun, please.
Okay. Equipment Officer David, what would you like to do?
Well, I gave it to Team Lead Raina.
What? Oh, shit, sorry.
Team leader, may I get the grappling gun?
As the computer comes down and looks directly at Officer Jessica. Impersonating a higher officer is a treasonous role. Please explain yourself.
I just didn't hear correctly, but then I realized that David wasn't speaking to me.
Is there something wrong with your ear modules?
Oh no, I was just focusing on the task at hand.
Well, I assume that no other further complications will be required as it sucks back up into the ceiling.
Thank you.
Team leader, may I get the gun?
The computer pops down once again. Officer Jessica. You're welcome, as it pulls back into the ceiling.
Yes, you may take the gun.
Good. I will try to swim down to locate the plug to remove.
Very good. As you attach the grappling gun to your belt line, you hop into the viscous red fluid. Or are you trying to use the grappling gun?
No. I will use it later.
Okay, fair enough. As you hop into the red viscous fluid, you do realize that given the last 20 minutes of your life, you've never actually learned how to swim, as you simply sink closer and closer to the bottom. You watch as bubbles kind of rise up from the red fluid before they stop entirely. Mikkel, go ahead and remove one of your clones. What clone number are you on?
Really well.
Number 3.
Number 3.
And now
Fantastic.
where am I coming back to life?
A few moments later, a familiar slopping sound as you fall back down directly onto the table.
Guys, the grappling hook is at the bottom. If you need it.
Oh.
Sounds like a mismanagement of equipment, doesn't it? Computer!
Again, the computer comes down from the ceiling, snaking down. Whoop. Team leader, Raina, please report.
It appears that Officer David has lost our grappling gun.
Officer David?
As she turns over to Equipment Officer David. You are directly responsible for all equipment. Seemingly, one piece of equipment has been lost. Please report.
Yes, computer. I gave the grappling gun to Team Lead Raina, who then gave it to Hygiene Officer Mikhail, and they, lack of a better word, they really messed it up. They didn't do their best, and now my equipment's at the bottom there. I will gladly jump in and get it. I will, right now.
I'm gonna bluff.
Okay. Go ahead and make a bluff roll for me.
Also, if I may, computer, I believe that Officer Michael intentionally got himself killed so that the grappling hook would be lost to us, and I believe that this to be a treacherous act and should be taken care of as soon as possible. And I'd like to use charm and brains.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead and input that into your node module.
2 successes for me.
2 successes. The computer twists its head to you like a small dog before turning back. Ensure you recover all equipment as it has been signed off by you. If you are unable to obtain all equipment, that might be seen as treasonous.
Thank you, computer.
Officer Robert?
2 successes.
Okay, fair enough. Fuck, what did you say again?
I was saying that Officer Michael killed himself on purpose so that we would lose our grappling hook, which is a treacherous act.
Fair enough. Immediately, the computer zooms over to Officer Mikkel. Please report. Were you intentionally devastating and destroying one of the clones of Alpha Complex property?
No, I have to say I said I was not a good swimmer, but I was instructed to go anyway. I went. Died because I don't know how to swim. And then the grappling gun is not lost. It's just down there. We know exactly where it is. However, I feel like Officer Robert is being on the witch hunt and trying to blame everybody for being a traitor. I think he went around the whole table right now, and I think we should be looking into it. He's trying to get us all killed.
A grave acquisition, indeed. Not acquisition, accusation, indeed. As it moves over towards Officer Robert. Conflicting reports. Please report.
As the loyalty officer, I have done my due diligence, and I think I know, in fact, that this was an intentional act, and I'm just keeping on top of it, keeping traitors at bay, as I have been instructed to do.
The computer twists its head as it steadies it once again. Report complete. Report inaccurate as it whips its head over to Officer Bobby. Communications clearly have broken down. This is traitorous act. Unfortunately, report has not been verified.
I can verify it before you make a decision. The
Confirm.
accusations of Mikkel are correct. He was following orders after he reported that he could not swim. Therefore, he went down, had his misfortune, came back up. Officer Robert, then, out of the blue, is making non-factual accusations against Michael.
Update, computer. I believe Officer Bobby to also be in cahoots with Officer Michael.
I'm simply stating facts. Michael was following orders of Reyna, went down after specifically saying he was not a good swimmer.
You're saying
and the equipment
slander.
is where he says it is, on the bottom of the pit.
Report confirmed as it looks over to Officer Robert. Is there any additional information that needs to be reported?
Yes. Also, I believe I sang a very good sea shanty, and that Officer Peter thought that he was capable of beating me in some kind of sing-off operation, and I believe that that to be treacherous, naturally.
I would like to propose a counter proposal here that as the happiness officer, I was inciting merriment and joy in order to keep morale up, and Officer Roberts tried to undermine my position and my role by trying to usurp my position, which I would like to present as evidence to support Bobby's claims about Robert's intention to bring down the entire infrared team.
And in fact, it was Officer Robert who set off a grenade in the vicinity of all of us.
treasonous report finalized as it sucks itself back up into the ceiling. You watch as a small rod appears from the ceiling as it forks itself out, very similar to that of a cow prod, as it inserts itself into the back of Officer Robert. Officer Robert, you feel a large electrocution as the rest of you watch as Officer Robert now turns into ash and dust as he falls down into a pile, now being whisked away upon the seas. Officer Robert, go ahead and reduce one clone from your character sheet.
The Inquisitor.
I don't know what this game is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've all voted you out.
You have now lost your grappling gun and have not made it any further. What would y'all like to do?
Can I use my brains in athletics to see if I remember how to swim by any chance?
You can certainly try.
Smart.
That's not a lot, though. Let's take
There's
one
a dog and a
success.
dessert topping.
Okay. One success. Fantastic. As Officer David, you walk to the edge of the table, peering down into the pits below. You try your best to remember what exactly swimming is in the first place. You immediately remember that it involves flapping your arms up and down as wildly as possible in order to leave the ground entirely and make your way up into the airways. You attempt to do so. However, it doesn't seem that you're able to swim in the sky as what your pseudo memories recall. However, you do take note of something that seems to be stirring in the gloom of the Red Sea. You see long, strenuous lengths as thick as your arm uncoil from the bottom of the pit and quest upwards toward the light and you. A number of tentacles now making their way just below the surface as you see a large red glow come from the center of it.
Kraken.
There's something down here. Can I? Oh, damn it. What am I going to do? I have a grenade. Can I just throw it? Or can I let it just drop down to that thing?
Again, you can certainly try.
5-second delay.
Would I add my demolitions to?
One
I can use my
Mississippi,
demolitions to that, right?
2
With
Mississippi. 3
Okay,
Mississippi.
violence,
4 Mississippi.
and violence and
5
demolition.
Mississippi. As the equipment officer attempts to throw the grenade downward, unfortunately, it completely blows up in his hand. However, being covered, it reduces the shrapnel effect. While the rest of you are considered injured, you watch as equipment officer David explodes directly in front of you. Bits of ichor now splashing off into the red goop. Officer David, go ahead and reduce your clones by 1.
Yeah, that's just great. Thanks.
Can I pick up the minigun and start shooting at the thing that's coming up?
Jesus.
Is that what you'd like to do?
Yep. You see, you said that we see something coming up from the thing, right?
You absolutely do. However, the computer drops down from the ceiling once more, coiling itself around you. Good day to you, Officer Mikkel. Have you been authorized to utilize this equipment from your equipment officer?
He has
I'm afraid not.
Certainly
I'm afraid not.
That is considered a treasonous act for not following proper procedures. You receive 4 treason points.
Oh.
I wish the officer about bureaucracy had told me about this.
I've told you like quite a few times. Yeah.
No, not you. Not the equipment one.
Oh, sorry.
The administration officer?
Yeah.
What?
I wish you would have told me about the the line of command that I think I had to choose.
How many treason points do you have right now, Mikkel?
Well, you gave me 4.
I did.
4.
You have 4? Fantastic. Okay. The
Mikkel, are
computer
you
swivels its
dissatisfied?
head over to Officer Jessica. Report has indicated that you have not complied or informed your team members of proper best practices. Please report.
Michael was full aware of what the proper best practices was, and not only me, but also David made it clear that we're not supposed to be using equipment if you're not authorized to.
Officer Mikkel, please report.
I wasn't told in the heat of battle, in the moment where we're going to get killed right now, that I shouldn't take up the gun and try to save everybody.
Officer Jessica, Officer Mikkel, you seem very agitated as it swings over towards Officer Peter. Happiness levels have plummeted. Please report.
I have been offering supplements as per the manual, and so far, all members of the group have claimed that they have been monitoring their dopamine levels and ensuring that they are not required for it. While they are dissatisfied with the actions of others, they are still happy, I believe.
It twists again over to the communications officer. Communication Officer Bobby, please report on your findings.
Mikkel's report was accurate that Jessica did not, in fact, go over all the stipulations of the equipment, as people were just asking to have it, and Officer David was handing them out as needed. But as to whether or not we needed permission ahead of time was not completely stipulated to begin with.
Do you believe that treasonous actions have transpired here?
I do not believe any treasonous activity on Mikkel's part has taken place.
And Officer Jessica?
Officer Jessica not reporting the full findings of what we were supposed to do could be seen as treasonous, yes.
You guys are going to make this game really painful from here on out.
With the report incoming to the computer, it now immediately swivels over to your teammate. Treasonous activity has been reported. Unfortunately, not reported by the loyalty officer. Loyalty officer receives 3 treason points. As it sucks itself back up into the computer.
You just never know who's going to get punished.
Well, I tell you, that really chaps my grits.
Okay. With the tentacles and the red glowing eye coming up from the pits, what would you all like to do?
I'm heading out the minigun back to Officer David.
Good idea.
I will hand it back to Mikhail.
Okay.
Here you go. You can use it now.
I just want to make it clear to everyone that you cannot use equipment unless you've been authorized by David to use it. No, doesn't matter if it's in the heat in the moment or not.
We are a herd, and we must follow together.
What happened if Officer David is completely dead and is out of clones?
Then you can't use the equipment because he hasn't authorized it.
Too bad.
Well, then shouldn't somebody like the team leader designate who would be the backup?
Why don't we argue? I will start shooting.
Yeah, just start shooting.
All right.
This is painful.
So-
you fucking did this. You made me the administration officer, and you made me have to narrate everything now.
Oh, this is fantastic. I'm so glad that this is going the way that it's going. I think that we're going to be running a full campaign of this on our channel very shortly.
Is there a way I can use the alpha complex to do like a customer survey thing for Jessica? It's like, if you are satisfied with this presentation of informations, please rate your administration officer 1 to 5 stars.
So you'd like to potentially create a survey, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. To measure, happiness.
The computer comes down from the computer. having a survey being completed at this point.
Yes.
Raiders.
Yes, computer. We are conducting a survey to see satisfaction with the performance of Jessica in the administration role as a measure for the happiness officer to see the satisfaction of the infrared group.
Okay, fair enough. As you report on this, the computer grants your request. As all of you suddenly have a giant pop-up window appear in front of your peripherals. None of you can see out of any side other than a tiny sliver on either side of your peripherals. Mikkel, you said you were shooting a gun?
Yeah, I'm shooting blind now.
Cool. All right, go ahead and reduce your node by 2 and attempt to make your shot.
Okay,
And while he
you have
attempts
3
that,
shots. You have 3 shots and it's +1 violence.
Plus 1 violence, minus 2.
Want to say hello, Raiders? It's good to see you out there. How
Hey there.
Submit.
How's everyone?
Yes, submit. All right.
I would just like to let you all know, as administration officer, it's important that you finish your surveys.
I'm doing it right now.
Good, David.
Okay. Mikkel, as you steady your gun as close as what you believe to be the pit, the rest of you watch as his view seems to be completely obscured as he continues to point the gun around to random spots. Mikkel, go ahead and roll a d8 for me.
That's a 3.
3. So that's 1, 2, 3 would be the team leader. You seem to be pointing directly at the chest of the team leader at this point, believing that you found the target that you're looking for. You pull the trigger, and as you do, you see a number of streams of red viscous liquid pour out of the minigun. Unfortunately, it seems your weapon is jammed.
Oh, I thought the streams were my blood, though, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
Looks like the equipment officer is not taking good care of the equipment. Damn it.
Excuse me.
Oh my gosh.
Do you see what's around us, pal? All right. I think we have some insubordination. Computer!
Now, hold on a minute. If there's any... Hi, computer. Good to see you again.
Great to see you, team. How is everyone's mission going?
Very good outside of Officer McHale. He has been insubordinate and treacherous in all facets of life that he's had in the last 5 minutes.
You tell him. You tell him, computer.
Officer McKell, being reported as treasonous as it whips its head over to Officer McKell. Please report.
I was given a gun to fight that creature in front of us. I pulled the trigger and some gooey stuff came out. I just said, I think Officer David did not make a good job at keeping the equipment in proper station so it could be used. That's all.
I would like to report treason. Mikhail did not finish his survey before taking on another task.
Completing your survey is mandatory, Officer McKell.
I did start the task before the survey was given to me, so I was finishing shooting before doing the survey. Therefore, I'm just doing the survey now as soon as I end up speaking to you.
Officer McKell tried to shoot his team leader.
Are you implying that assignments assigned to you by computer is less important than personal tasks?
No, I'm saying I need to reply to you before I do the computer stuff.
Error. Unsure what is meant. 4
Because
treason
the
points allotted to Officer McKell as the computer sucks back up into the ceiling. Roz at this point getting very frustrated by whatever the hell this is.
By the way, I have 8 stars, and I will start running.
Okay, as you attempt to run down the hallway, again, a number of...
No. I'll go towards the creature.
Okay, as you dive down towards the creature, you watch as the creature now begins to make its way up from the bottom of the pit. You now see what you would all recognize as the SKW 1DD0 or Cracklin bot has appeared directly in front of you. As you do, you watch as Mikkel sinks closer and closer and down towards the bottom, the tentacles now grasping onto him. As you hear a ticking noise, muffled underneath the viscous liquid. Before Officer Mikkel's cerebral cortex seems to explode, damaging the unit completely. You watch as a small explosion happens underneath the water. Officer Mikkel, you lose one of your clones. However, you see bits and pieces of the SKW, or Squid 1, now floating up towards the top. As you look down a little bit further, you can see a large panel, or handle, circular handle at the bottom, which would indicate some type of valve.
Well, sometimes you have to milk a few cows to get a few answers, you know what I mean?
All right. David, I'm getting a little bit concerned about your obsession with cows. I would like you to tell me immediately what that's all about, because I think we all are a little unnerved.
Well, you know, I just want to be a dairy farmer. You know?
A dairy farmer?
Yeah, I have no idea what it is, but I want to be one.
Are you saying that you're not happy with your occupation as equipment manager?
I'm gonna bill for that.
Well, I feel like you're accusing me of.
Yeah, it's
not
my
wanting
job
to-
as the loyalty officer to accuse people.
Oh look, it's fine, David. Look, I've got this pill here, right here. It's called the reality setting of a small and decent job over being a dairy farmer.
I'm sorry, Peter. Are you trying to get me to escape doing my job? Loyalty
To
officer?
escape your fantasy of being a dairy farmer.
Oh, ridiculous.
Computer!
The computer once again comes down. Report, loyalty officer.
I unfortunately have to report 2 of our esteemed workers here. Officer Peter has failed to keep Officer David happy, and Officer David is refusing to take the medication to make him happy.
Both are treasonous acts. Team lead, Reyna, please report.
As far as I know, Officer Robert is correct.
Issuing punishment. As it zooms up back into the computer, you watch as 2 what look like stage hooks from old-timey 1920s cartoons now pull David and Peter directly towards the wall. You watch as their bodies splatter up against the walls, becoming nothing more than the viscous red fluid that you've been absolved in the entire time. Officer David and Officer Peter, please remove your clones.
What the actual hell? I can't
Thank
even
you
do
very
my
much,
job.
computer. Let's get back to the job at hand.
All right, fair enough.
let's get back on track.
David, how many clones do you have left?
Oh, yeah, I got just one more.
And Officer Peter?
This is my last guy.
Okay.
This is the dude.
This is it. Fair enough. Okay.
This is Hero Peter now.
Roz now looks over to Reyna. Are you going to make a call here?
I've been trying to. Are there any like, because no one can swim down there, so we can't get down there. Is there anything Anything that I can use to almost like weigh me down, so maybe I sink faster, or whoever I'm ordering down there sinks faster, so that you don't necessarily need to swim, just gravity can kind of do the job?
You can simply float down if you want.
Officer Bobby! You look like a floater.
Well, then that would make it counterproductive of going down, wouldn't it?
You can float down.
Floating is up. Sinking is down.
I just heard the words float down. You can simply float down. Why don't you give it a try?
And while he does that, hey, kids at home, who do you think's gonna die next? I wonder.
Officer Bobby, what are we doing?
All right. If I'm being ordered by a team leader, I will comply.
Technically, I asked you.
No, that's an order. Let's see. Let's see. What can I use? I don't think I have anything that would really help me here.
Okay,
So-
with that said, Roz just pushes you into the liquid. As you fall into the liquid, you find yourself floating downwards, the breath now escaping your lungs. However, you do find it down to the very bottom. The wheel that seems to be more of a handle than anything else resides directly in front of you.
All right. You use mechanic and operate to try to use it.
Okay, input that into your node.
All right.
Well, looks like he's dead. I'll yodel in his memory. Yodel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, as you make it down to the bottom, you're able to twist the large handle, and as you do, the hatch seems to pop open. You immediately get sucked down into the drain as you lose one of your clone members. However, the rest of you watch as the red viscous fluid now begins to sink down and drain out. You eventually find the bottom of the corridor, easily able to step off of the table directly. Roz nods to you all as a job well done. Familiar sound as clone Bobby falls down. Roz guides you all back to your original briefing room. And as you make your way into the briefing room, the computer comes down one last time. Welcome to your debriefing, officers. Welcome to your debriefing, officers. Welcome to your debriefing, officers.
Oh no.
Welcome
Okay, computer
to your
malfunction.
debriefing, officers. And as the computer repeats over and over again, you hear a cracking and a crumbling. It seems that after Officer Peter had attempted to throw the piece of ceiling back up at the ceiling tile, it has affected the overall instability of the ceiling itself. As it all falls, crushing every single one of you, you all lose one more clone.
On clone 6.
Me too.
But
Peter?
I'm out.
but
I'm gone. I'm dead. I lost.
For those of you who are remaining, you do receive the additional 150 XP points. Some of you making your way to a red tier. Congratulations, troubleshooters. A job well done, if I do say so myself. And that is going to wrap up our session of Paranoia. Thank you so
What
much.
was it?
We don't know.
It was a fantastic game that was run by an expert GM, clearly.
Yes, you did a great job, Dave.
With that said, guys, I just want to take a moment to once again thank Gary Con for allowing us to come and playing this fun little goofy game that has been a lot of fun. If you've enjoyed it and would like to try playing it yourself, go check out MGP Paranoia or Mongoose Paranoia. That is the edition that we were playing on. But before we go, I want to quickly turn it over to our guest, Peter, aka David, to tell us all about himself.
Oh, hey everyone! I'm Peter from D&D with me. I'll actually be doing GaryCon tomorrow, actually
Yay.
at the same time. So we'll be doing a D&D one-shot, the cleanup crew, with a special guest from Evil Genius Games, Siegfried Trent. So if you're into a little bit of a dungeon crawl, we'll be doing that, but it's a little bit of a twist. But D&D with me is just a channel where you can play D&D with me, essentially, and very happy to be here with the Careful Cantrip crew again, playing this game, and it was very much Monty Python at the end of the day.
Very, very much. And as always, we are Careful Cantrip. We are a known, well-known, kind of known group of idiots on the internet that likes to play Dungeons & Dragons and tabletop role-playing games. If you want to check out more of our stuff, follow us here on Twitch at carefulcantrip.com/tv.youtube.carefulcantrip/Twitch. It has been a wonderful time here. Guys, thank you so much for your enjoyment. Hopefully you had a good time. And Officer Robert, if you want to take us out.
Why did you have me mark down every time I broke the fourth wall or sang or did any of that stuff? That was for nothing? That was just so I could tell you.
For absolutely nothing. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
Bye.